AEW doesn't push black talent, and if you think that's bad, just listen to some of these excuses.
I know you ain't just here lurking. Subscribe to Pro Wrestling Bits.
As AEW continues to establish its predominantly white pillars and Sammy Guevara, misguided AEW fans, media, and even AEW themselves are chock full of lame excuses as to why it's so hard to develop main event level black talent. Seriously, it's just so hard to make black people connect with the mass audience. These things take time. Despite their own potential, the Will Hobbs, Lee Johnsons, and Red Velvets of the world are typically one-dimensional bit players whom you know nothing about and are fed to main eventers before disappearing from television. When the Jungle Boys of the world lost to a top star in Kenny Omega, he didn't really lose. His family was right there in the front row. The fact that he's Luke Perry's son was a constant talking point. They did everything in their power to establish Jungle Boy as a fully fleshed out top star, even in defeat. Meanwhile, the only thing that's black and over in AEW right now is Arn Anderson's Glock, which got more promo time and character development than any of the black humans in AEW. Why is this? Why does AEW, the progressive diversity company, struggle so much to promote black talent? Here are some of the lamest excuses you'll hear on social media and various other platforms as to why AEW can't make one black top star in 2021, let alone build the type of spectrum of blackness that they've built for the all-elite white people in the company. Number 5 is one of my favorites. Why does it just gotta be black people? There's plenty of colors and ethnicities to choose from for AEW to still be diverse without having to do the whole black thing. Why are supporters of black wrestling so fixated on black people? What about the Latinos and Japanese wrestlers and Cambodians and Indonesians and Singaporeans or the Blickies? Diversity could be all kinds of colors. Colors that don't make people as uncomfortable. That's the pro wrestling version of All Lives Matter. It implies that black people in wrestling have the same exact circumstances and obstacles as everybody else. Last I checked, there are several prominent Japanese wrestling promotions like New Japan, All Japan, and DDT. Several prominent Latino and Lucha Libre promotions like AAA and CMLL. China has Oriental Wrestling Entertainment, whom AEW has worked with. In fact, AEW has working relations with a couple of those promotions I just named. Quick, what's your favorite wrestling promotion that features predominantly black talent? Come on, you got this. I'll wait. You got me. It was a trick question. But shout out to the smaller black-owned wrestling promotions in Reality of Wrestling and House of Glory. Are you starting to see why certain people need more support and advocacy than others? Or do all lives matter? Of course, I agree and support the promotion of minorities in wrestling. When it comes to representation, the more the merrier. But at the end of the day, I'm a proud black man, and speaking for myself, I've always connected with pro wrestling better when black people are properly represented. So that's my priority when it comes to the minorities. If AEW crowned its first Antarctic world champion, yes, that would be dope. Good for Antarctica. But as long as I feel black people are being marginalized, you'll be hearing from me. I make no apologies about having a pro-black agenda. The idea that diversity doesn't just have to be black is a distraction and roughly translates to Negroes need not apply. I mean, if you really expect me to be content with every minority being represented except black people, then enjoy your subscription to Blaze TV because you've got me all fucked up. None of the power brokers in wrestling are gonna wake up one day and decide that it's time to push black talent just because. Much like America, wrestling companies and the wrestling media will barely say the word black without flinching, so black people themselves raising awareness about these issues is always a central ingredient to black people getting a little further. That's why the hashtag Black Wrestling Draws is now a thing and will continue to be until the endless list of talented black wrestlers get the equity they deserve in professional wrestling. Number 4 is all the talented black people are already with WWE. Of course, I forgot. There's a shortage of talented black athletes in wrestling. That's why AEW is interested in signing everybody who got over in Ring of Honor 15 years ago, except Jay Lethal. Besides, all of the black wrestlers who have name value and are already perfectly packaged and ready to go are locked up in a WWE contract. Because you see, black people are expected to be perfect and already established and fully developed before they become the pillars that so many white wrestlers in AEW have become. Twice as hard, half as far, you know the drill. Nobody had ever heard about Jungle Boy, MJF, Orange Cassidy, or even Darby Allin on a national stage when AEW started, yet they all became top stars in AEW almost immediately. Why? Because AEW put the time and resources in to make them top stars. Don't talk to me about being ready for the spotlight. Jungle Boy still can't cut a promo to save his life without Christian bailing him out, but AEW does not use that as an excuse not to push him. They just hide his weaknesses and accentuate his strengths because this is fake pro wrestling, where a creative enough carny can make any promising athlete into a top star regardless of skin color. By the way, speaking of black stars, this month's Black Wrestler of the Month is Jade Cargill. Jade's fantastic, and word on the street is she had a banger of a match against Thunder Rosa and Nyla Rose on Rampage. Imagine that. They put a quote-unquote green but impressive-looking black woman in the ring with an experienced veteran, played to her strengths, and she came off as a star. Jade Cargill needs to be promoted as at least the fifth pillar of AEW, or AEW's aggressively white foundation will inevitably come off as redundant and the type of internet wrestling that will always have a very low niche ceiling for viewership. Think of all the sports in America where black superstars are few and far between. Golf, tennis, Major League Baseball, hockey, professional wrestling. They typically struggle in viewership outside of specific demos and will never be as popular or mainstream as the NBA, the NFL, or even the NCAA. How about this one? What black wrestler would you push in this situation? Please, Mr. Black Man, tell me how to speak the black language. What's the special sauce that AEW needs in order to make black people a thing? Is it a hot sauce or... Oh, so now I have to book the territory? I'm just a dope writer and comedian with a humble YouTube channel. I have no privileged information about the dynamics of AEW's locker room, but now I have to have the answers before I can see my people shine. AEW's problems in making black top stars cannot be answered by suggesting one black person who I would hypothetically book. Their problems go far beyond tokenizations. Every type of white person is represented in AEW, sometimes multiple times. So one black world champion would be nice, but it's far from the solution. Where's the black culture in AEW? Where are the black people in AEW? Not just a great black hope, but an entire spectrum. Hood black top stars, hipster black top stars, punk rock black top stars, even handsome black nerds who can connect with people like me. I've never been a booker, nor do I aspire to be one, so you're shit out of luck if you need me to book the territory in order to save your diversity crisis. But I am pretty good at making fun of things, and as long as AEW remains unapologetically white, I'll keep bringing attention to it through satire and commentary because I think it's hilarious. But if you want me to book the territory, no thank you, unless you got about $10 million. Number 2 is what I like to call the racial roll call, where people just spout out the names of all the black wrestlers AEW has under contract. You know, because representation is just one big ebony eye chart where if you could name all the black wrestlers who are just there, you're doing your part. If you could name all the black wrestlers while covering one eye, congratulations, you can see color. Scorpio Sky, Nyla Rose, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, bingo! Did you know that Scorpio Sky was one half of the first tag team champions and he won a brass ring a while ago? What more could I ask for? I guess I've been checkmated. By the way, Scorpio Sky himself, in a promo this past Wednesday, even said winning a fake brass ring just wasn't good enough. So apparently the racial roll call doesn't pass the bullshit test with him either. The racial roll call is a tactic AEW themselves used in a statement to me, where they listed all the black talent that they have under contract. Did you know that 40% of AEW Dark or Elevation matches have featured black talent? What are all you people still complaining about? I am encouraged by AEW signing black wrestlers like Lee Moriarty or Lio Rush, but until I see them promoted at the level of an MJF or a Darby Allin, having them wrestle for the sake of wrestling just won't cut it. Yes, 18 black people are under contract in AEW. I can read, I can count. So I can also tell you just how many of them are booked as top stars, and that number is 0. And the worst excuse, 2 years. Slavery and Jim Crow lasted much longer than that, so what's the problem? Give it time for AEW to have this oppression party. Just wait. I'm sure everything will just work out for all these marginalized black wrestlers the way things always work out for black people in America. No. If the wrestling world gets too complicit in AEW's caucasity, then AEW will eventually mess around and start booking all-white wrestling shows in stadiums named after famous black athletes. Wait a minute now. Don't get me wrong. AEW could be as white as it wants for as long as it wants. It's a formula that has worked to build a loyal, niche audience fantastically. But that doesn't mean I have to be silent about it. The reason it took WWE 60 years to crown its first African-born champion is because there was no black wrestling media 60 years ago to hold them accountable. I don't care how new AEW is. You know what else is new? The idea that now there's many more black people covering pro wrestling who aren't interested in holding this company to the same standards as pro wrestling in the segregation era. 2 years without a single black top star is 2 years too many, especially from a company that used diversity as a marketing tool before it even opened its doors. Give it time.